At the London Design Summit, I'm joined by Martin Goddard from Goddard Littlefair. Welcome to you.
Hi.
Tell me about the Southbank Marketing Suite. What's this project?
Southbank Place is a major scheme that's being developed by Canary Wharf Group on the back of the Shell Centre on Southbank, consisting of residential and office and retail, and basically developing the whole area again around the existing Shell Centre. We're actually one of the designers on the project, so we're designing one of the residential buildings and the spa. But the trick was that they really wanted to get a marketing suite produced. And they wanted to go away a little bit from the traditional marketing suite, which is kind of like a sort of building shoved on the corner of the site. It looks very temporary, and because it's a very high-end development, very sort of high values, and they're attracting a lot of sort of very high-end buyers. So they wanted something with a bit of gravitas. So they looked at County Hall and came to us and said, look, we think it's a bit crazy. We want to take a bit of County Hall, we want to turn it into a marketing suite. But it's never been done before. It's a little bit curveball. So our challenge really was to look at the space, which is about a quarter of the floor plate on one floor. And one of the areas was like Ken Livingstone's ex-office, so if you remember the GLC. And the thing is, it's a listed space, but it's been abused a lot in terms of how it's been used. So the first trick was to say, okay, how are we going to approach this very old, this listed building that's got its own character, and then shoehorn in something that's quite contemporary, and trying to show off the apartments and various other things. So the challenge was to kind of mix that all up and then trying to come with this marketing suite that fitted in this building.
And so how did you do that? I mean, obviously that sounds like it's a massive challenge. So to achieve that and to take the potential buyers on a journey, what did you need to do?
Well, I think the most important thing was to respect the building. I don't know if many people know County Hall. Some of the insertions in that building since it stopped being the GLC, they've almost obliterated the building inside. They've changed it and completely covered it. Our approach was to celebrate it. So the first things we wanted to do was sort of restore what was there and make it part of the story. And then the second thing to do, where areas didn't work with the architecture of the building, we worked in a box-in-box environment where we could put an insertion within the building, completely mask what was inside, but then it can also be easily removed again. So there's two parts to it. There's a restoration and there's a new build element.
And so for of course, as a marketing suite itself, how was it, or how is it different to other marketing suites that are out there within similar kind of territory?
Well, it's different because it's going to be there for at least 10 years. This site is a very long site, different phases, and it's going to sell residential and retail and office. So the main marketing area needs to be generic. It needs to have its own style. So the first thing we have to do is create its own style, and then see how we could sort of make that journey very interesting and make it very different. So it's not all about exhibition panels and models, although that is part of it, but it's very much having sort of like a residential areas where people could come and see samples, see videos, talk through elements outside of a show apartment itself and outside of a presentation area.
So having that capacity to have it there for a very long time, a decade, means that you can approach this in a very different way and actually gain different types of audiences, different types of buyers, I suppose.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah,
very
right.
much so.
And what about for you as the company, as Goddard Littlefair? This particular project is very different, I imagine, from hotels that you've done or other residential apartments, etc. So as a business for yourself, how has this accelerated your company?
Well, I think it's sort of blended several skills that we have within the office. So it had to have quite a residential feel, so that brought our residential experience, but it needed the longevity and the wearability of a hotel. And we also had to think about the service aspects. We sort of blended that together. And then something that we really kind of built on it is the marketing aspect of creating a sort of the brand for the marketing suite and doing that kind of thinking and really trying to push it outside the box a little bit, which has sort of then accelerated us into things like we're now doing brand exercises for other part of the client's group.
So you're actually doing different design, different work because of this one project.
Yeah,
so you've transformed your business to a degree.
Starting to, yes.
So where can you go in the future because of these types of, they're almost like little interventions into your firm, aren't they?
I think what it sort of shows to people, to clients, is that we can come into a scheme and then look at it a very different way. If it's slightly challenging, particularly if it's in an existing building, which we have lots of experience of listed buildings and working within them, of sort of thinking things outside the box, taking things apart and then putting them back together again and saying, okay, this is the way it now sort of looks. And we're doing that for several clients at the moment.
And what would you do in the future?
In that particular project?
Yeah. Would you buy a house or an apartment?
They're very nice apartments.
Lovely.
One we did was lovely.
Oh, lovely.
Belvedere Gardens, very good.
Lovely.
Spa's going to be lovely too.
Oh, good.
Would I buy one? No, I don't particularly want to live in the South Bank, but I think it's a good development.
Yeah.
I think it's, it's for its competition. They've certainly gone the extra mile in terms of making it sort of as high spec as possible, and the location's lovely.
Yeah, but in the future, with regards to Goddard Littlefair, I suppose having had this example amongst a myriad of other projects that your company does, where can you go?
Well, I think it just sort of opens all kinds of doors, because I think it sort of, it again reinforces our ability to work in listed buildings. We did all the listed building consents as well, so very challenging. So I think we can take that experience, sell it to clients and say, look, we can deal with your very difficult spaces. I think also we can sort of, again, take the brand exercise further forward and really sell that as part of the business. Not just about interior design, it's also about brand and everything else.
Thank you so much for telling me about the Southbank Marketing Suite. Thank you, Martin Goddard.
Thank you.